Thank you so much, my wonderful, wonderful MCs. Please put your hands together for them. They've just been bringing like wonderful life here, and we really, really, really appreciate you. So, as you can see, we all wore black. We didn't plan it. I came here and I saw Adim and I saw Tomiwa, and I'm like, guys, what's going on? In fact, it's quite the collaboration. So, now we're going to go into this topic. I'm going to try to keep it as interactive as possible. I'd love for you guys to listen because it's quite the, it's a topic that you would need probably later as you venture into like business and as you grow creatively. But we just want to set that foundation for you guys. So it's scaling creative startup funding and the global market. So I know that the MCs have introduced our wonderful panelists, but we have big men here. Oh. Don't be deceived. These are big men. So first of all, we have Adim. Adim has over 20 years of experience in the creative space and otherwise. He's ex-Google. He's worked in HP. He's worked in Intel. He's a big man, no. He's also an investor. So clap, oh, clap, clap, clap if you want to clap. Then we also have Tomiwa, who is another big man, He has almost 15 years of experience, more than 15 years of experience. He's worked with Kingmakers, Biggie Bet, Shotlers. He has his own firm called Switch, and he also invests. I know that personally. Don't worry, since I'm the moderator, I'll not introduce myself, so I'll keep you guys guessing. But let's go to them. So Adim, just tell us a little bit more about yourself, then Tomiwa, introduce yourself.
Not until you introduce yourself. I think he should introduce himself, right? You want to know what he does?
My best.
How much he earns? Is he married or is he single? Let's get it.
Let's not lose focus. That's
focus.
Okay, so I'm Elton. I work as the fundraising lead in a company. It's not domiciled here in Nigeria. It's in SF. I also am the convener of a foundation. Then I also have an advisory firm where we help like startups raise funds, structure things. When I'm not doing all of these things, I'm baking or I'm playing the guitar or I'm singing in the choir. So, what other questions?
Husband material, how many yards? Should we just do a bid for wife?
Adim. Okay.
Well, why do we need this panel?
This is not why we're here. Let's see how Adim has taken over the session. Eh? Oh yeah, Adim. Okay, there's ring on their finger. There's no ring on my finger. So, but that's not why we're here. So Adim, please just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your experience in the creative space.
No problem. We'll wrap up quickly so that we can find him a wife, right? So first of all, I want to say that I'm extremely happy to be here. And I know you guys hear that a lot. But if you know me, you know that this is my happy place. If age mates.
Sorry, I didn't get that. You're what?
I'm a Gen Z now. What's wrong with you?
Okay. Allegedly.
Yeah. I'm just 41 from the back. But I love to be around young people. Yeah, my name is Adim. I'm a creative. I've been doing this all my life. I've been telling stories. I've been creating things since I was a child. And I'm happy to say that I do it now full time for money. I've made money doing it. I've built businesses doing it. I have great friends doing it. And so today I'm not going to spend time telling you about myself and the great work that I've done, but I want to use that time to talk about how you can go and do that. That's why I really am happy to be here. But if I don't read my CV, you might not rate me. And I want you to rate me so that you can take something away from this. So I've worked on great projects like Gangs of Lagos, where we invested. I was a co-producer on Gangs of Lagos. Everything Scatter isn't out yet. Brotherhood as well. I was a co-producer, executive producer as well. Adao Modadi. 3 Cold Dishes with Burna Boy that just came out. I work with a lot of creatives. I used to work at Google, so every creative, every creator, every artist on the YouTube platform, I have worked with, I have touched, and even right now as well. So I'm really happy to be here, because I might be hiring today. Who's excited?
Shoot your shot, so shoot your shot.
And this Malga, he's always hiring.
Tomiwa, over to you. Who are you hiring? Tomiwa, come and hire me now, please. You know that I always...
I mean, going after Adim is a lot of pressure, right? My name is Tomiwa. Privileged from everyone else, because I see the future of Africa in this room. And then if you're really proud of yourself, just put your hands together for yourself. So I'm a creative storyteller, but with a background in growth, right? So from beginning of my career up until now, I've been privileged to grow, a couple of brands. Some brands that like Bet King, Shotlers, and now, I run my own startup. It's a marketing growth startup where a boutique agency doing great things, globally, right? So we have a couple of global talents, and we help global brands come into Nigeria. So at events like this, I always hire too. I love young people. I work with young people. I think I'm the oldest at my agency, and I'm Gen Z at heart, right? And over the last couple of years, I started to invest, in early stage businesses, and then, even creators, because, I can tell, where the future is headed, right? The future is you guys. And today, I really want to be able, and with this, panel, that what we achieve is that we pour a lot into you. And all of the burning questions you have about growing and scaling, your ventures, we're able to answer. All right.
Thank you so much, Tomiwa. Put your hands together for them. As you can see, we have people, they have a wealth and a plethora of experience. They've done so much. There's so much that they've done. There's so much they are able to give. And I hope that as you guys listen, there's a lot you will get from them. Hopefully, you might also get a job. Who knows? But let's see how that goes. Okay, so I wanted us to talk a little bit about the industry before we go into just some specific questions. The first thing I wanted to ask, this is to you, Adim. A lot of things have changed, from when you were growing up till now. We have TikTok, we have AI, things that are pushing and affecting the creative space. So what's the biggest shift you've seen that young creatives need to pay attention to in today's day and age?
I like how he says my name, Adim. My name is Adim. Please, can you guys say Adim?
Adim.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I like to play also, just in case. No disrespect.
No,
I'll start with platform, then I'll go to skills, and then we'll talk about the most important thing, which is money, right? Fantastic. So the two platforms that I've seen a paradigm shift with is TikTok and YouTube, right? Like I said, I used to work at Google, and Google owns YouTube. And for the longest time, in Nigeria, in Africa, YouTube was mostly an advertiser landscape. It was also mostly for brands and music people. In the last 2.5, 3 years, since we had the shift with Netflix and Amazon, there's been a surge to YouTube, right? And I've been part of some of the strategy sessions where the YouTube creator team are coming down to Nigeria and are trying to kickstart people making money there, right? I also try to test it myself. So what I'm saying to you guys in the room is, if you don't already have a YouTube channel, please start one now, monetize it, start making content, and just be consistent. So I tried to test it as well. We kicked off a YouTube channel because I wanted to see that this thing is actually working, right? And in, I think, about 6 to 8 months, we kicked off a YouTube channel at the agency, side project. And as a side project, 6 to 8 months, we put a couple of movies there. It's SBX TV if you're looking for it. Some very not so great movies are there, but you'll enjoy it. It's typical Niger movies.
What'd you call the name of the platform? STX TV?
SBX.
SBX. So
anyway, but the goal is start your own. And in about 8 months or so, we've racked in $20,000 just looking at the views. So if I'm looking at a paradigm shift from a creator perspective, I would say TikTok and YouTube has been big, right? And I think that people need to take it a little bit more seriously. I like the panel that spoke earlier, right? It's the audacity, the consistency, if I can add, and the craftsmanship. Some of you might be skilled, because we'll talk about skills in a bit. but it's the consistency and also the audacity in how you're pushing it and saying, I have a YouTube channel, go check it out, right? So those are the two things that I feel like from a platform perspective has shifted, and it has almost democratized how people are making content. There's not a lot of gatekeeping anymore, and people are now aware. In fact, one thing I want to say is, as part of this strategy group with YouTube and some brands, brands are now reaching out to people like me and YouTube directly, and they're saying, we want channels where we can place ads on. So beyond even just running YouTube ads, they want filmmakers, content makers, where they can put ads on. I don't want to mention brands, but right now, there's a brand that is asking for at least 100, two brands, two of the biggest ones, one in telco and one in food. They're looking for channels that have 5 to 20K YouTube subscribers that they can place their product inside your content, not to advertise on YouTube, but to place their product inside your content and pay you. So if you are not going to take anything away from today, please start a channel, have a direction for your content, and be consistent. Those would be the two things, right?
Thank you so much, Adim. Start a YouTube channel and be consistent. I think you also meant carve out a niche, or is that part of things?
Exactly. But we'll talk into that a little bit.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So Tomiwa, I've come back to you. My question to you is, many people want to blow and they want to go global. What does scaling actually look like for the young creative today, apart from, going viral? What does scaling actually look like?
So I would say, and I wanted to add to what, Adim said. Adim said, right?
Sorry.
So most of Q2 this year, I spent Q2 negotiating with, a lot of filmmakers, right, on integrating into like a particular brand into their movies, right? And this is something that, is now prevalent, right? So you see in every movie, there's some sort of product placement or there's a product call out. And, there's that shift. And, I think we'll speak more to that when we start to speak about funding or getting funds for, your project, right? And then, even with TikTok, right? So one of those brands that, I currently work for came into Nigeria and opened a TikTok account last year. And, the amazing thing about, these platforms is there's no gatekeeping. You're no longer limited by, geography, right? And then we created, all of last year. And at the end of last year, one thing that was very insightful was that we were able to reach over 300 million people, right, from Nigeria. And when you think about it, in Nigeria has a population of just 200 million. People online are about 110. People with smartphones are about 56, thereabouts, right? So we reached people in other markets with localized content for a brand, and it went global. This spurred the brand to open, shop in other African countries, right? That's what is happening today. And then to, creators in this room, right, what scale looks like is, somebody from, like I'll use myself, somebody from, that grew up in Mushin, between Mushin and Oshodi, right, creating content that is seen and validated. And I don't have to, like the other panelists spoke, the previous panelists spoke, I don't have to change my narrative to fit, a global audience. They have to adapt to me as an African, right? So I'm telling original stories. I'm intentional and consistent about, my craft. And, I'm properly distributing. So the education to distribute, the education to, grow, not just virality, right? Because virality is fleeting, right? It's viral today, it's gone tomorrow. But then how do you stay consistent? There's an education to it. There's a study of the algorithm. There's consistency in creating what the algorithm rewards, even as a creator. So I think, scale is really being intentional about the education, being able to reach the people that matter, and intentionally staying there. Scale will come to you. I promise you. It works, and it will continue to work.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Well, put your hands together. That was really deep. As they both were talking, they reminded me of like a conversation I had with one of my previous analysts where I used to work, that I used to manage. And she was talking to me. It was her birthday, and I just called her, say, "Oh, happy birthday." And she said that she opened up a TikTok channel, and in a week she makes about 300 to 400K just from the TikTok channel. I'm not on TikTok, but I was just like, oh, wow, that's actually possible. That's from her bedroom, from her room, from not going out, and she actually has an actual job. So it's something that, like they've mentioned, if you stay on, if you're consistent, it doesn't matter where or how you're coming from. Like Yinka said, from Mushing, see how he has scaled. It's something that you can do. So I think that's also another thing too you have to put in mind, the mindset. Whenever I come to gatherings like this, I always try to talk about you must have that mindset shift first. And it's part of the things that would actually like move you in that direction. Okay, so let's move to like another bit, because this topic also has a bit about funding. I just want to touch that a little bit. And this is to you, Adim. Did I get it right this time? Aha. Young creatives often worry about, selling out. So my question is, how can they attract funding without losing, their identity or originality? I think Yinka has touched a little bit on it, but you can just help us, expand on that.
So this is a great question, but I think before I answer, I want to ask in the room, if you've ever made a movie or created a product that is like a creative project that requires funding, can you please just put your hand up? I just want to see that I have an audience in the room. Sorry, the guys in the back, is that a movie, a music project? Sorry? Oh, it's a poetry project. Okay. Any movies? Yeah? A movie?
Can someone help us with the mic?
A platform.
In the audience, please.
Okay. A streaming platform. A digital platform. Okay, fantastic. Any filmmakers in the room? Filmmaker? Okay. Have you made a film? How much did it cost you to make that film? Sorry, do you want to take the mic?
So can someone help us with the mic in the audience? Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so this was just a low-budgeted film back in university.
That's fine.
And how I was able to make that happen was with a phone.
Okay.
But when I shot it and put it out there, people didn't know it was a phone because of the creative work that we put into it. And how I was able to now get support because I couldn't get cash.
Yes.
So I pitched to people to just give us support for resources.
Okay.
Like the location, logistics, and I'm also a stylist and I'm a fashion designer. So I just had to put together some pieces for styling the actors, and I also came in to also act and produce the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you crowdfunded?
Yes.
Oh, where is the film today?
It's on YouTube.
Okay. And are you monetized on YouTube?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let me not put you on the spot. Thank you. Is there anyone in the room that wants to make or be a filmmaker? Sorry, I need to see your hand up, please. All right. So the reason why I'm doing this exercise is because I want to know how to respond to the question. Fundraising for a film or a creative project isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. And in the last few years, our experience so I run a company called Capital Film Production, and the essence of the company is essentially to help filmmakers raise funds for movies. And we've been doing that for about 6-7 years. And I mentioned some of the projects that we did that for. Gangs of Lagos was one of them, Brotherhood, Adao Modadi, and a bunch of other projects. And why we exist is so that filmmakers can be who they are, artists, creatives, and let us worry about finding the money. So we're building the ecosystem for filmmakers to have opportunity and access to money, just like you will have today with the tech ecosystem. But one of the things that we started to realize was, yes, we're able to raise money because we're able to put structure in place for this film. A good example is when a filmmaker comes to us and says, I want to make a film, I need 100 million to make this film. The first question is, who are you as a filmmaker? What have you done for us to back you and give you 100 million naira. Where is this film going to? So do you have the credentials and the credibility for this film, this 100 million? Where is this film going to? What's the route to market? What's the monetization plan, right? And you hear some filmmakers tell you, I'm thinking about taking it to festivals. I don't know is some of the answers we get from filmmakers. I don't know where this film is going to. You also get a lot of filmmakers telling you, it will go to cinemas, or it might also, there's no clarity from these filmmakers, right? So when you think about the journey to raising money for a creative project like film, it's always a struggle. And the beginning or the starting point is with the filmmaker or with the creative. A lot of creatives just want to be creatives without having structure. And I always like to say this, I preach this everywhere I go. If you are a creative, find a business partner. I feel like I know that you will go far when you partner, right? Find a business partner so someone can be the brain of the business or of the company while you be the creative. And I'm saying this because I believe that there are future filmmakers and future creatives in the room. Okay. And so some of the problems we started to solve beyond finding money for filmmakers is we started to solve the problem of no structure or lack of clarity in thoughts in terms of how you go and ask for money for your film. So as simple as even putting their pitch decks together, right? So some of the biggest movies and biggest filmmakers you know today don't even know how to do a pitch deck for their movies. They don't even know how to put together a strategy to say this is where my film is going to go, or the unit economics to say I need 100 million plus or minus 120 million for miscellaneous should in case this film costs more, and this is where this film is going to go. Because guess what, guys? There are investors. People are actually there to give you money. And for what is what, our soft power as a country, so there's a buzzword going around now in the whole economy space. It's called soft power. Our soft power is Nollywood. Our soft power is Afrobeat. Our soft power is creativity, right? And when we look at that, we're not harnessing it and moving it into hard power because the creatives are only thinking as creatives. So some of the things we started to do was to help these creatives build structure and to raise funds. Some films were able to raise 200 million, and sometimes more, sometimes less. And our goal is to ensure that they stay in line, to ensure that the film or what they say they want to do, they do. Because another thing with creatives and filmmakers, because I am a creative, so when I say this, I don't say this accusatory. I say this from a place of this is some of our Achilles heel, our problem, is that we do a lot of vibes and inshallah, and we take our creative time to bring out a project. But you've taken money from somebody, and you have to deliver as at when you said, and you have to do what you said you will do as at when you said. And so when we go to institutional investors to raise money, we try to keep to time. We try to build structure. So what am I saying to you guys, future filmmakers in the room? You can raise funds from, one, institutional investors, but you have to have a structure, a business process, a business plan that doesn't just say, this is the story I want to tell, but this is how I plan to monetize this. This is how I plan to make money off this. That's one route. We also started to quickly realize that there are other ways to make money or get money for filmmakers, right? We started to crowdfund friends and family. We created a thing called tokenization. So even if you are trying to make a YouTube film, we're even able to help you raise your 20 million, your 10 million, because we can aggregate non-institutional investors to put 5, 6, 10 million together for you to make your film. But the question is, do you have a YouTube channel with the view? Are you monetized? Like I just asked my brother, is your channel monetized now? So if he wants to make another film, I'm not going to say yes until I see that his channel is generating revenue. Another way that we now help filmmakers make money, and I've done this recently for like 5 different films, is how much is this film costing you? You hear filmmakers say, I need 60 million. How much of your money do you have? You hear a filmmaker say, nothing. You hear some say, I have 10 million. I'll say, okay, let me see the story. And before you start to film, while we were reading the story, I can tell you 1 or 5 brands that I can bring to the table to be a part of your film. But I want to clearly put the caveat here. As a filmmaker and a creative, we don't do a slapstick on throwing a brand on your film, just like we've seen in some films very recently. What we try to do is make sure that it's authentically woven into the story so that your film stays true as an artist, and the brand still shines through, right? So that's another way. So I was able to get that filmmaker 40 million from 2 different brands, and they were able to make their film without going to look for more money and still have money. Does that make sense? So to answer your question in a roundabout way, there are multiple ways to skin the cat. But as a filmmaker, you need structure. You don't just need to have a story to tell. You need to create a structure. What is my business? How am I making this film? How much am I looking to make this film? When will this film be ready? Where is it going to go? How much of my money do I have? And then where do I go to find money? And there are places. Lots of funds exist, but unfortunately, I don't believe some of them. And I will say that here. A lot of funds exist in the world today, in Nigeria, but I don't believe that they are real or tangible. I read a book by a US author, and he said exactly what my brother just said here. And he said he made his first film borrowing his friend's car, using his dad's office, and collecting clothes from his girlfriend to make the film. So as a filmmaker, when you're thinking about raising funds for your film, don't think money. Don't think money. Ask, what do I need? Do I need 6 locations, 3 cars, and, 1 laptop? Who can give that to me? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adim. And because of time, I will just push one more question to Tomiwa, and then we'll go into the general Q&A session. But one thing I actually want to flog that Adim mentioned is, as a creative, and it's not just even in the creative space, so generally in the fundraising industry where I am across different sectors of business, people always come, and I feel like it's more in the creative industry because you come with so much passion and so much talent. Oh my God, I can sing. Oh my God, I can, make a movie. Oh my God, I can paint. But then you forget that there is a business side of it. And that business side is what Adim was just talking about. Put in the structure. You need to understand these things that will make you grow. It's okay if you, he said something about a pitch deck. How many of you guys know what a pitch deck is? See? Raise your hand up. How many people know what a pitch deck is? See? How many of us know what, a data room is? Nobody. How many of us know, okay, you know what, a business plan is? You know what that is? Raise your hand. Let me see the hands up. At least everyone should know some of those things. Oh, okay. Pitch deck. Oh, sorry. Okay, yes. But you need to, for those of you that don't know, these are things that you need to understand, or find someone that understands it and, merge into your business. So Tomiwa, I'll push the last question to you, and then we'll take Q&A, questions and answers. So money mistakes are very common when people are starting out. What is one financial decision you made earlier in your career that you wish you didn't make? And we can also sum it with, what advice do you have to young creatives as they start, just business-wise and even with money?
I've made a lot of financial mistakes, but, the one thing that I did was learn from all of them, right? So very early on, right, just like Adim, mentioned, money was first and center, right? Not what I needed. So where I could have gotten, what I needed for a project, I, spent money. That could have been money that could have gone into probably distribution or, something else, right? So that's one, mistake that, I made, a couple of times early on, right? But see, the foundational thing here is you have access now, There's a global community of people and resources that can help you, right, so when you start out. Also, knowing, about money is important, right? From a business point of view. You go to meet somebody, you want them to, invest in your project or even be interested in your project. The first question they're going to, ask or think is, what's in it for me, right? If you speak to me at this event and you tell me that you're shooting a film, I'm going to ask you, what's in it for me? And it might not be, monetary value, right? It could be something that I care about. For a lot of brands, right, they have, CSR pillars, right? Things that speak to their very ethos and nature, what they want to solve in society. If you speak to those things, meanwhile, the aim is not for them to capture monetary value, but they want to see excellence in what you deliver, right? So I would say, right, learn about money, learn investment, learn compounding. You're young, right? Learn to compound, resources, learn to compound money. That's what I'll say.
Thank you so much, Tomiwa. Put your hands together for him. Learn about investments. Learn about compounding. Learn the things that go into the business of being a creative. So we are out of time. I want to use this session because I feel like there's going to be a lot of questions. I don't know if you guys, who has questions to ask? We have about 10 minutes, so let me see how many. Just put your hands up so I can count. So I have just 1, 2, this side, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Anyone from this side? No. Okay, 3. Okay, that's 4, 5. Okay, fantastic. So that's all I'll take. So can all 5 of you, 2 minutes each. Can someone please help me with the mic so that we can... Okay, please, can all 5 of you come out so that we'll take your questions one at a time. Put your hands together for them. I know it's giving church service testimony, but it's fine. It's the best, actually. Awesome. 2 minutes. In fact, 30 seconds so that there will be time for them to answer. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So my question is, as a student, like a medical student, most times we're always congested with the course, how to follow the PD, how to read, and you still want to start a business. Let me just use myself. It's just me. So let me just start it from last month, probably due to the event I've attended. So there's this inner part of me that came, I want to do something, but most times, is it that the environment, probably I started a plantain chips business like that. So, but it's not moving the way I want. I'm not seeing the profits the way I want, but I'm just going let me just start this thing. Let me just start from somewhere. And sometimes, even online, I try to look for probably jobs online or something I just want to do something. But is it that there's no capital, firstly? Is it that there's no capital? And secondly, is it that there's no resources, or there's no, I don't know what to put it. I just want to do something, but is it that I don't have a helping hand, or I just want to do something, but
Okay.
Aww.
I've searched jobs online. When you were saying the other time when you were here, you were saying that people should come and apply for jobs. I was like, maybe I'll apply for, I don't know. I just want to,
All right.
Okay.
I get it. Do you want to start? Yeah?
So let me answer your question. The truth of the matter is you have the passion. You need to sit down and think, what do you want to be the direction? And let me tell you something about being young. Something someone told me when I was in uni. He said, you don't have no kids. You don't have no wife. So why are you afraid of failing? Fail, you pick up again. We've all failed before. Try the first one, focus, see how it goes. If it doesn't go, you move to something else. And let me also tell you something. It might not be as profitable at the beginning. In uni, I baked delicious cupcakes. I told you guys I used to bake. The first batch of cupcakes I did, I distributed it to all the girls in my hostel, free. And they all ate it. After that day, they were all coming back for the cupcakes, and it grew into an entire business. Everyone's ordering from me in school. You said you don't have capital. I don't fully believe that, because there's always capital if you want to take a risk. Sell your phone, sell something, sell something, But what I will say is just try something, focus on that for a bit, study your market. If it doesn't work, move to something else. Cool?
All right, let me, thank you very much. I think that was great. Let me just add, you're a student right now. You're a medical student. Sorry, this thing is now giving Oprah Winfrey style. I'm just in my head. So you're a medical student right now. And as a medical student, you don't have a lot of time. What year are you in? You're in your second year. So it's still early. Okay. I'll say 2 things. Clarity is what you need, and focus, okay? Actually, balance is the word I was looking for, not focus. clarity and balance. Take a deep breath. All right. As a medical student, you want to become a doctor at the end, right? A dentist?
No, a medical lab.
A medical lab, okay. So you're not doing the full 7 years? 6 years, okay. So I would want my number one advice, because I'm a dad of 2 girls, I want you to have balance. You see that word balance? It sounds easy, but it's one of the most difficult things to do in life, especially as you're adulting, because right now you're experiencing adulthood real time. So you want balance. And balance doesn't always look like 50-50. It never does. Right now, your absolute priority is your education. Once you prioritize that, everyone that works with me, and for me, I always tell them, have a to-do list. Build in your own time. Build in your own redundancy. So once you prioritize your education, and you see that there's another 15 hours that you have free in a week, right? Then that's the time you have for something else, okay? Once you have clarity in that balance, then what I would advise you to do is the second thing. Take some time, like he said, and think about what you like to do. You like talking? Then do that. Let me tell you how to do that. If you like talking, write this down. What kind of jobs, or what kind of job, or what kind of thing can I do talking that can earn me, right? Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. So you're looking for someone that will take a chance on you and give you the freelance opportunity. All right, no problem. There are platforms for that. Let's have a conversation.
I feel like, so I'm going to...
Juliana, put your hand up. Please, let's have a conversation with Juliana.
Thank you so much. Because Adim also mentioned something. I didn't start the business until final year, when I had so much free time. So year 1, year 2, year 3, I was focusing on my accounting. So next person, please.
Yeah, okay. The Afroverse and the creative economy. Since everybody have been talking about Afroverse, I've been hearing Afrobeats, Afro everything, but nobody's talking about Afro wellness. Because yes, I have a brand, and my brand is a prime example that the creative economy can extend beyond the local sectors like movie and entertainment. So what do? My brand, I address local health needs with local ingredients. What I create is, it is an African something. It's an African drink. It's originated from ancient Egypt. It is known as, what's it called? In Ghana, they call it sobolo. And then in Caribbean, I think they call it something. But in Nigeria, it's popularly known as zobo. Okay. The main idea behind the brand is to create something, like I'm an research patient, and there's limited drinks that we can take, like carbonated drinks, and all of those things. Doctor do advise us to take yogurt and all those. Not everybody can take that. So I wanted to, ulcer patients should also be able to take refreshment without compromising their health. Okay. So I felt like, I can be the change I want to see here. So, and there's this drink my mom usually makes. Zobo is everywhere. Everybody makes Zobo. But she makes it with just 3 ingredients.
The question is?
Why is nobody talking about Afro wellness in the creative economy?
Okay. So, because of time, I want to take all the questions at once. So, I've noted that one. The next person, let's just hear all of them. Then we'll try and merge. Let's see if there's similarities that we can merge. Okay.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, and thank you so much to the speakers. Really got a lot from this session. I myself am a lawyer and I'm a filmmaker, and what I really want to know, this was really helpful, is what kind of partnership dynamics do you look at? What makes a creative team of founders stand out to you personally, and what kind of dynamics do you look for? That's what I want to know.
Okay, fantastic. That's a great question.
Yeah, good afternoon. My question goes like this. As a business owner who is trying to grow on social media, how can you get a lead without paying for ads?
Okay. Yeah. These are the right people for this question. Don't worry.
Okay, hi. So my question, okay, firstly, you both great men are filmmakers, and we're talking about filmmakers. But yeah, the creatives in the house, and you also mentioned investment. So would you advise a creative to go into investment, firstly? And second, what kind of investment would you advise creatives to go to that will add to their creativity or creative knowledge generally?
Thank you so much. So because of time, they are both actually investors. So maybe Tomiwa, you want to take the investor part and the lead generation part. Then Adim, you take the collaboration and the creative wellness bits. So over to you, Tomiwa, first.
Okay, so I think I'll start from the second to the last question on lead generation, right? So because my background is growth, lead generation is a very fundamental part of it, right? To drive lead generation at scale without cost is to be intentional about, visibility, right? Your leads are always looking for something, right? They're looking for a solution that for a problem that you're currently solving, right? How do they, find you? Right? What are you doing, to rank, with SEO? What are you doing to rank with AI, right? How are you training LLMs to, position you at the top of searches? So when I search, with that problem on, say Perplexity or, ChatGPT, what am I seeing? There's also, the cold emailing, cold calling, right? There are, platforms, right? If your leads are on LinkedIn, for example, you want to make connections and you want to, be relentless about, DMing them, right? You want to send DMs that, tell your brand story and sell your solution. So what I would advise you to do is, there's a framework called, ICP, right? It's called, Ideal Customer Profile, right? What that helps you do is understand, your target's pain points, how your solution solves for their pain points, and how to sell it to them. Once you understand that, right, every time that you send a message to a prospect, there will be interest because you're going straight to the point, because not all of your target audience they're the same, and not everybody would use your solution, the same way. But once you understand your ideal customer profile, you solve for visibility and you are, intentional about reaching them. Right, because so for example, if you send me a message, I would go online to check about you. I want to learn more about you. What am I finding? Right, it needs to be properly curated, properly keyworded, so that you're ranking, with search. Right, so that's what I would say to you. There are a lot of, businesses today that have grown without spending a dime on advertising. But when you do get capital, please, fuel your growth with advertising. So to the question on, what to look out, especially when, investing, right? For me, when I invest in projects, it's ROI for me. I'll be very frank. There, passion points, investments where, I've invested for passion because, I'm interested in the person, or the person is a mentee, or the person is my friend. But primarily it's ROI. So you need to know what I am interested in investing in, right? So I have a fund. I have two funds, right? I have Switch Capital, early stage startups, in tech, solving, mobility challenges, right? And then I have, another one for creatives, right? Because I run a growth agency and some of my biggest collaborators, are creatives, right? So for me to accelerate, my offering to clients that I, work with, I need you guys. So if you don't have the capacity to build and scale, I would want to invest in that. So you need to know what, primarily appeals to the investor. And then in your pitch, like I think Elton and Adim said, you also need to work from back. What is going to deliver value from me is going to, catch my attention in the first 5 minutes. Before, I started, so I've exited a startup before. I exited a startup last year, right? And before, I started pitching, I pitched to maybe 5 investors, and one said, and I was trying to raise, equity. And one said, you know what, I want to buy you, right? Like blank check, and that's how, I exited. But see, the thing is, I spent hours and hours on YouTube watching Shark Tank, right? I spent days, right? I can tell you, every product in different categories that, exceeded $50 million US in sales in the first 4 years. That's how much invested I was in Shark Tank. So you need to spend time getting the education, and it's practical. You see similar businesses like you. How did they raise funds, right? And the story is, one of the most important things, right? And then after they hear your story and they're like, oh, this is so amazing. How much have you done? What do you project to do? Those are the next, questions. So once you understand that, right, it will be easier to raise, funds.
Thank you so much, Tomiwa.
You guys not clap.
Clap now. Solid advice. I was writing.
All right. The lady that asked the question on
collaboration, and then another person on creative wellness.
Yeah, the creative wellness. I think she left the room. No, okay, you're right there. Okay. I want to go back to what the guy said. The guys in the first panel said, audacity. If you're waiting for it to be done for you, it will never happen. You have to do it yourself. You have to, if you already have a product, start talking about it. Become a creator yourself and start talking about it. Secondly, find your community. You're not the only one doing any stuff in the wellness space. Find other people who you're going to cross-collaborate with. I don't have a lot of time, but there are lots of creators today, especially these tech reviewers that you're seeing today, Miss Techie, Eric, all of these guys. They kind of started with me. So I guess my point is, you want to find your community. You want to find your tribe. Don't go at it alone. If you start talking about it, find the next person that is doing another Agbo Jadi that has a profile online and run with it. Before you know it, I was saying to Tomiwa here, I do work for a brand, and the superstars that this brand look at are not your regular celebrities. The superstars that they look at are chefs, cooks, and they pay them a truckload of money. I signed the contract, so I know what I'm saying. And I was saying to Tomiwa, wow, these guys are like superstars, but they don't just see it. And it is because of their consistency, being chef, training, talking about it, that a brand can see them and sign hundreds of million naira worth of deal, right? Fly them everywhere. So if you can consistently speak about your product, make sure that your product has NAFDAC number, I beg. Find your community and don't stop. You might be the person creating this economy that you're looking for, and it will come to you. I'm very serious. I believe in it. And I hope that helps. Okay, fantastic. Your question around what do we look for you're a filmmaker, what do we look for before we invest? What are the structures that we look at? Yes, I'm running up. And I'll answer the question very quickly. We don't invest in a filmmaker that is not investing in themselves. So I started by saying, who are you as a filmmaker? What have you done? So you have to have done something. 1, 2, how much of the skin in the game are you putting into this film that you're looking to make? 3, where is this film going? Do you have a structure for it? Do you have a plan for it? Does it make sense? Have you even done the Naira and Kobo to say this is the return on investment? I've seen people raise 500 million Naira. I've seen people raise $500,000 for one film project. But because they can clearly articulate what the ROI is and where the film is going, right? And the truth is, you don't have to have all the answers. We can have a conversation as to how that structure can work, because the conversation can be long on the mic. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Adim. Thank you so much, Tomiwa. And thank you, my wonderful, wonderful audience, for listening to us. It's been a pleasure. We hope you learned a lot. And signing out, Elton.